Music consists of three basic properties: melody, harmony, and rhythm. There are only 12 distinct musical notes available, but they can be strung together into an infinite number of combinations. We'll start with note lengths to help follow the upcoming music examples, then move on to note names, intervals, scales, and arpeggios, which are the foundation of every melody. This shows the most common note lengths, though there are others. From left to right, a whole note extends for all 4 beats of the bar: 1, 2, 3, 4. Half notes extend for 2 beats: 1, 2, 3, 4. And quarter notes are 1 beat each: 1, 2, 3, 4. Shorter notes include eighth notes that sustain for half a beat: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, while 16th notes are only 1/4 of a beat. There are also 32nd notes and 64th notes, not shown, that are shorter still. The last 2 bars show dotted notes, where the dot means the note is held for half again longer than its stated duration. So this dotted half note lasts for 3 beats, and the quarter note that follows completes the measure. Quarter notes can also be dotted to play for 1.5 beats. We'll cover time signatures, beats, and note lengths in more detail later. Notes are written on a musical staff, as shown here. Staffs, or more properly staves, are divided into bars, which are units of time that contain a group of notes. This staff has 2 bars. The first bar contains the first 4 notes, and the second bar holds the next 4 notes. Again, these notes are called quarter notes because each represents 1/4 of the bar when music is in 4/4 time. The numbers at the left of the staff identify the music's time signature, which in this case is 4/4. The upper 4 identifies the number of beats in each measure, and the lower 4 is the length of each beat, which is 1/4 note. So every bar contains 4 quarter notes, or some other combination of notes whose lengths total 4 beats. This is called a piano staff because it contains separate sets of lines for the pianist's left and right hands. The first note in this C major scale is called middle C because it's midway between the bass clef on the bottom and the treble clef above. Middle C is also near the middle of a piano's keyboard. The treble clef is sometimes called a G clef because the swirl circles the G line. Likewise, the bass clef is also called an F clef because the 2 dots identify the F line between them. These clefs are also used for other instruments in the treble and bass ranges. For example, flutes and violins use the treble clef, while bassoons and tubas use the bass clef. There are 2 other clefs, called tenor and alto, but they're less common, so we won't bother with them here. Basic major and minor scales have only 7 notes, so the letters A through G are used. Then the note names repeat again with A. This scale is called ascending because it progresses higher in pitch. When notes are to be played by the left hand of a piano, they're written on the lower staff. These scales are in the key of C, so they both start and end on a C note, though this scale is called descending because it goes towards a lower pitch. We'll cover musical keys in more detail shortly. This shows the note names for both the lines and spaces of the treble and bass clefs. The traditional mnemonic for treble clef note names is "every good boy does fine" for the lines, and the word "face" for the spaces. Equivalents for the bass clef are "good boys do fine always" and "all cows eat grass." Maybe it makes more sense to just memorize the notes. Printed music can contain a single staff as for a guitar or clarinet, or as many as 25 staves or more when showing the full score for an orchestra or big band arrangement. The notes in a scale are numbered starting at 1, which is also called the root note. Here are the same C major scales as before, but showing note numbers instead of their letter names. Using numbers lets us describe the notes without regard to a specific musical key. For example, the 3rd note in a scale determines whether the scale is major or minor, regardless of its key. The last note in the scale has the same letter name as the first, and sounds at the same basic pitch, only 1 octave higher, so it can be referred to as either 8 or 1. The printed notes on a music staff correspond to the same notes on a piano keyboard, and of course they relate to the same notes for all other musical instruments too.